Brandon Bennett and Pat Slack welcoming you to another edition of the Fast Friday segment for this week. And I tell you what, Brandon, I wanted to talk about the experience you've recently ran into that is important because it's always what we talk about. Now you can put a case scenario right in play for us, and that's the networking, the information, the due diligence, the getting the plan of attack down. But I want you to tell our listeners about it.
And it is an excellent case study, Pat, because I had a young investor, a student at the University of Nebraska at Kearney that was saving up and sitting on some money, and he contacted me back in January. And we started talking about different books that he and I have read on multifamily investment properties and even commercial properties to some degree. We sat down, we had a number of conversations through Facebook Messenger, through an investment group that I'm part of, and then we sat down, had a couple of meetings, we shared some books and some anecdotes and some trainings that we both go through, and then we started looking at properties. And we just closed on his very first investment property this week, 8 months after our first conversation. So initially you're looking at that, Pat, thinking, wow, 8 months, that's a long time. But on the other hand, we take our due diligence. We want to make sure we develop that relationship. And above all, especially for an investment property, Warren Buffett's number one rule for investing is not to lose money. There's plenty of properties out there that may have been a good fit for other investors, but were not a good fit for him. So whereas other investors have purchased those properties in those 18 months, they're making money off of them. He may or may not have been able to, because it's just not that investment property is going to make money for everybody. It has to make money for the client that we work with, and that's a very specific formula.
That's exactly right. In fact, why don't you give Brandon or myself, Pat, a call, and we want to take you through that experience together. We want to do that due diligence. We've always talked about it, but this can happen, and it can happen easily. Come talk to us. Pat Slack, Brandon Bennett, Century 21 Commercial, right here in Kearney.